Salut Trappy, bienvenue sur Helico Micro.
Hi.
Peux-tu te présenter pour les lecteurs qui ne te connaîtraient pas?
Well, I'm 30 years old now. I finished or almost finished studying business and IT in Zurich and moved to Hong Kong to open up my business together with two friends of mine, revolving around drones, and we called that business Team Black Sheep.
Comment as-tu commencé TBS?
We didn't start with multi-rotors. We started with flying wings. Pretty long time ago, it was more than 10 years ago, that we were experimenting with this camera technology and the video transmitters and everything. We just started doing this as a hobby, and the ranges became more and more, and the performance of the equipment and the prices came down, and everything became more and more ready to fly, more ready for the flying wings, and then the multi-rotors obviously came up, with the multi-wii. I think that's the first time I ever flew a multi-rotor with a very cheap multi-wii controller, and it was really difficult because there was only manual mode.
Comment as-tu commencé l'aventure TBS?
Much how we got into it, and back then already we were doing a little bit of business in FPV, so just helping out friends to build their flying wings, and selling video transmitters, or just stuff that we couldn't easily find. And so when the multi-rotors came up, we decided to do a multi-rotor frame called the TBS Discovery. And that pretty much launched our business, because I would say it's the most popular FPV frame still, to this date. I hated working for other people. So I think we had some really, or we still have some really good ideas. And I found two guys, and I'm more of a manager type of person, whereas the other two are very technical. One is really good in software, and one is really good in hardware. So this kind of built the core team around TBS. And once I knew that these two guys and I clicked really well, and could work together really well, it wasn't really a question of whether we're going to do it or not, but just when would be a good time. And yeah, my studies dragged along pretty slowly at that point already, because I was more focused on doing FPV and launching the business. And so I dropped out of university and moved to Hong Kong.
Quelle est pour toi la prochaine grande étape technologique pour le FPV?
Still is to get a really reliable control and video signal, for very large distances. So we're not really interested in the short flying, around your park, those sort of things. I would say in terms of technical challenges, pretty much everything has been done there already. But what we would like to see is multi-rotors that can fly beyond visual line of sight, maybe even cross-country or cross-continent. Like if I want to fly a drone on the Eiffel Tower in Paris, wouldn't that be great if I could just open up my web browser, launch my remote control, and hook into a Parrot Bebop or whatever is flying there, or maybe a Discovery, that can fly around the Eiffel Tower. These are things that are interesting to us. So I think one of the very interesting aspects of this whole drone technology, because when we were starting out, I was at the Eiffel Tower. I flew my Discovery around the Eiffel Tower. And when we were there, the police came, and actually they made us fly all the way to the top rather than arresting us. So I think that was in 2011, 2012, I think. It wasn't really perceived as something dangerous and something or something that will intrude on your privacy. Back then, everybody thought it was some new cool technology, and everybody wanted to do the same thing, right? So when you're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower, everybody wants you to fly to the Eiffel Tower. When we were standing or when we were in New York City, everybody wanted us to fly to the Liberty Island and to the Statue of Liberty. So I think this is also a challenge for us multi-rotor pilots to get the public's exception again, because I think it has been through all the fights that we've been doing, people telling others not to fly wherever they felt was inappropriate, and other people abusing their right to fly and crashing into stuff where they shouldn't be crashing. So these are like the two balancing acts that I think we should find and come together again and hopefully get a little bit more acceptance from the bossman or the lawmakers.
Que penses-tu des lois qui apparaissent un peu partout dans le monde?
The laws were made maybe 5 to 8 years ago, or drafted up 5 to 8 years ago, and have been discussed ever since. So I don't think that the laws necessarily reflect the state of technology that we have right now, as well as they are not really very welcoming towards further development. I think the drone technology is like the internet technology when it was first developed. I think there is a trade-off between progress and safety, and all of the lawmakers are siding very heavily on the safety aspect. Of course, safety is something that one always needs to consider, but if we restrict stuff based on the notion what could happen, then a lot of stuff that would be very beneficial will never happen. I think it's very good, and is also extremely necessary for those countries to compete in this industry, because if you look at how the Chinese are handling it or how Hong Kong is handling it, it's a totally different level, and they are creating multi-billion-dollar industries. Just our next door neighbor DJI just got valued at 10 billion US dollars. So it's a industry right now that is completely absent from most European or Western countries, mainly due to the laws that we have right now.
Que penses-tu de l'engouement autour du FPV racing?
The level of the FPV pilots is not really good enough yet to have a really challenging race. Everybody's just crashing all the time. So in that sense, the Gemini was really built for racing because it's super light and it's really fast, but it doesn't handle crashes as well as some other frames. So we are more looking into how to make it more stable for all of these high speed impacts. And I think that the racing is a really interesting aspect of this hobby because it adds a certain competitiveness. And also it's a very good marketing tool. So it introduces a lot of people to a very positive aspect of our hobby.
Es-tu en train de nous annoncer un nouveau Gemini?
I shouldn't have. Well, of course, I mean, we're always working on upgrades, and we heard that, for example, the motors break really easily. So now every Gemini is shipped with the spare plates that will help you to fix those motors on the field. So this is actually more of a thing that we are working on rather than making a Gemini version 2. So our interest has always been to support the customers that have bought our frame, and to make upgrades or improvements that the customers can then retrofit to their existing frame.
Quel conseil donnerais-tu aux débutants?
The problem about FPV actually, because traditional RC, they always have their local flying field, and they just go there, and if there's a beginner, we can tell them, go to the local flying field and talk to the local pilots. The problem about FPV is they meet in some forest or in a car park at night or some other remote location. So it's very difficult. I guess if a beginner really wants to learn about it, the easiest way to get into it is to find local people that are involved in the hobby, and then to talk to them and see how they are using the technology, because it's a very complex subject and it's very difficult to make recommendations for somebody.
Quelle est selon toi la prochaine grosse évolution technologique en FPV?
for me to really enjoy drones, I need a clear picture. I don't need an HD picture. I need I need a reliable picture. I need to know that it's not going to cut out at any given time if somebody drives past with his mobile phone on or something like that. So I think the next thing also that you're going to see from TBS will be very reliable um, communications between the drone and the pilot. So this is something that we've spent a lot of time and energy on, and I would almost say it's very close to release.